Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are joining from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed.
The presidential candidates and Governor Wike of Rivers, they are two individuals. Yeah, they both contested for the primaries. Of course, one won, the other didn't win. And there are contentious issues arising from there. Group A has enumerated their points of contention. The other side too has already enumerated their points of contention. Now, you now need these experienced elders who will be able to listen and provide solutions which will be binding on these other parties. Now, one of the most contentious issues is the issue of who should be national chairman. The founding fathers of our party, because if I don't go back into that history, people sometimes will look at me and feel, what are you talking about? Nigeria is not a natural country. If you looked at it, since 1914 that we started, with all the various governor generals and all kinds of characters, and 1960 they emerged with a system of governance. They had the 3 regions, and you know, all political parties at that time were completely tribal. The NPC was a Northern People's Congress. The NCNC was associated with the East, National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, then NCNC. The Action Group was mainly West. Whereas Dr. Azikiwe, you know, had a great privilege. He was born in Zungeru. So he spoke Hausa fluently, he spoke Igbo fluently, and he spoke Yoruba fluently. You would have thought that would have given an advantage in being able to penetrate. But the political parties were hell bent, and they were all tribally biased. Several coups, several governments, and same system. Suddenly, by 1998, after Abacha's regime, 1998, Abdul Salam came on board. And then the politicians who had been part of the First Republic now came together and said, look, what can we do to prevent military incursion into the governance of Nigeria? You know those who sat together? Bola Ige from Southwest. You could never in your wildest mind think Bola Ige and Alex Ekweme will sit in the same room discussing politics. Then Jinwo Bodo, although from the east, and Alex Ekweme were not on the same page politically. Remember? Baba Solomon La from Plateau, Alhaji Shiroma from Yobe, Bamanga Tuku, Baba Bamanga Tuku from Adamawa, Professor Jubril Aminu from Adamawa, Chief Sunday Awoniyi from Kogi, then Alhaji Rimi. These people were completely different political, in different political directions. But they came together, they called a meeting and said, look, let's forget about our personal ambition and objectives, political ambitions and objectives. Let us take this country as all ours and look at the best method to relieve this tension in Nigeria. First, to prevent the military from coming into governance, and to find a better method by which every Nigerian, whether you are majority tribe or minority tribe, will have a sense of belonging. What did they do? They divided Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones. You know, in our constitution, the federal constitution, there's nothing like geopolitical zones there. They now said northwest, northeast, north central for the north, southwest, southeast, and south-south. So 3 zones in the north, 3 zones in the south. And that captured both majority and minority. And then they now came out with the 6 top positions in the land. The president, the vice president, Senate president, Speaker of the House of Reps, secretary to the government, and the national chairman of the political party. So you see, there are 6 zones in the country, there are 6 top positions. So that friction that was generated by majority having their say and their way, and minority just being onlookers, was banished forever. Because each zone will go home with one of these top positions. So that sense of oneness, that sense of belonging, that sense of inclusivity was achieved. All right? Now, if you look at it, they also did a marvelous job by linking the party with the legislative arm and the executive arm. So there is some kind of a synergy. So if you are in government and you have distributed all these top positions in those on the zones like that, it is easy for you to resolve your crisis. It's no longer majority versus minority. So you remove that friction, and you can guarantee that if after 8 years of government, the 3 positions in the north will come to the south, and the 3 positions in the south will go to the north. So that's how this issue of zoning and rotation was brought about. So whether you are minority or majority tribe, I used to refer to that as turn by turn Nigeria Limited. It brought calmness. Since 1998 to date, what would the military government say they were coming to do when there is no friction amongst you? You know? So he guaranteed it seamlessly. 16 years of government. But something happened. When those founding fathers sat back and conceptualized this model, nobody thought that another political party, and let me also draw attention to this. You see, at that time, in 1998, when they formed political parties, 1998, 1999, ANPP was the northern party. AD was the southwestern party. What was the one in the east? They had the ABGA in the east. Still going back to the tenets of tribal political parties. Only the PDP was a national party, founded by these old men that I told you. Who wrote the first constitution of our party was Chibola Ige from the West, who was the driver of this same concept of coming together to form a national party. Dr. Alex Kweme, Baba Solomon La was there. All these people who were, you could not imagine that they could sit in the same political room discussing the Nigerian solutions. Now, but you know, when ideas come like that, you can't perpetuate it. Things will change. There will be new movements, new thoughts, expansions, the programs, and all that. Nobody at that time thought there would be another political party that can adopt this same concept and produce a president. You know, so what we found was that what do they call APC? I call them a congregation of strange bedfellows. Suddenly came together, and some of our people who couldn't win positions in the party moved to APC, looking for laurels, and sold this concept to them. In fact, we used to be so arrogant in our public outing that our party will rule Nigeria for 60 years. It was a mirage. But we were shocked when we were beaten silly. So what hit us was they produced a president. So in these new elections we were struggling to get on for 2023, the crisis now emerged. Where should the presidential candidate come from? Because of the human factor, we went into a spurious crisis. They zoned the party position, and the only position that is also zoned north and south is the chairman. Some of our leaders, some of the elders who had been part and parcel of this, we realized that we were heading for a serious constitutional crisis in our party. We said, oh, we didn't zone the position of the president. We only handled the position of the party, which was a monumental crisis, a monumental mistake on their part. You cannot divorce the position of the national chairman from the position of the national, the presidential candidate. No. You have to resolve all of them at once. Now, okay, the mistake was made, and then we had a meeting and we realized that that was a major mistake. The members of the Board of Trustees they waded into the crisis, and then there was a review by those members. And that's how they decided that, okay, for the purpose of this present exercise, because 6 months had elapsed and nobody had said the presidential candidate must come from one zone and the chairman of the party will come from another zone. So what do? People now made emissaries, and there was a lot of cajoling, a lot of calmness and begging and telling people that we should not allow this to break the party. They spoke to the conscience of the party. And the party then said, okay, now that you have done it, there's a section that is written in our constitution, section 7, subsection 3C, that says zoning and rotation of party positions in the presidency must always be entrenched and cannot change. And that henceforth, 6 months before the commencement of the sales of forms, we must announce the sale of forms with the zoning of the party position and the presidential candidature. So we now said, let them allow all zones to compete, with that belief that sensibilities and good behavior would emerge. Once it was done, counted the votes, and Atiku Abubakar won. You would have expected that the leadership made a lot of overtures to calm the nerves of those who didn't win. So what you are seeing now as a major contention is the fact that the candidate of the party, flag bearer for the 2023, is from the north. The national chairman who would lead the campaign cannot come from the same zone. And we are deliberately and intentionally asking that Ayu must resign in the interest of the party, because no zone can single-handedly win the elections and head to the villa. You need both north and south. What do we tell our people in the south that we are bringing home as our own position in the party and then in the government? If you are telling us wait until after election, how do I convince the people? You know, those who are card-carrying members of the party, just a small percentage, the majority of the electorate are waiting. More so with the state of this nation now. So if the people are asking us, what are you bringing home for us to convince us to vote for you? You say wait until after election. So would they accept that from you in the situation where we have found ourselves now in this country? No. And that's what is a major hurdle. And I believe with the quality of elders, committed elders, knowledgeable elders, who have served meritoriously on the platform of our party, we will resolve it. It is not that, yeah, we knew that Southwest had been, all right? South had been. Ideally, if that was conceptualized, but that's not the way it was written in our Constitution. Anybody from that can compete. But then, this is where the real politics come into play. You can, you must be united to battle for it, to lobby for it, to ask for it, to present your depth of analysis, why it should be this or that or B. You know? So the party in its definition, and I can read it to you, Section 7, subsection 3C stipulates that zoning and rotation must be sacrosanct in the party. Up and down. And what you are supposed to do when it comes to your term, when it comes to the South, anybody in those zones can contest. On moral basis, that to say, look, you have had this and that. Now it's coming to me. Who is coming out from here? I accept that because it's irrational, thinking. But then you must come with a united front to bid for that. If you don't, politics.
Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are joining from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you notify each and every video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much, and remember blessed. If you are joining me from Africa, Asia, Europe, America, Australia, or any part of the world, I thank you very much for your contribution. Please, each time you watch my video, go to the comment section and put down your comments. That is where we'll learn from each other. We learn a lot from the comment section. I don't speak alone. I am speaking with you. You can equally contribute. You can criticize if you so desire, but do it constructively so that we can learn from one another. That is why we're here. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, you have to say what is happening in your own area. Whatever happens, if you see something, say something. Don't be silent. We cannot allow the conventional media to continue to change the narrative. We cannot allow the conventional media to continue to play down the situation. We will continue to bring the situation the way it is and say it straight the way it is without hating anybody. We are not preaching hate speech. We are not talking down anybody. We say live and let's live. And for those who say we will not live, just like the Fulani Janjaweed we have said, they will not live either.
Yourselves. Anambra, Enugu, this Imo, Abia, and what's this, the fifth one? Ebonyi State to sit. Who is going to go? You understand? No, I'm talking seriously now and honestly. Who is going to go? Who is going to be our rep? With the elders who meet, it doesn't have to be Ohaneze, but Ohaneze can get involved and all that and present. This is the man we want to present. Like they did during Ekweme's time. Ever since, you have spotted people. Everybody coming. But then, in fact, what happened, like I told you, it was the governor of Enugu who was the chairman of the zoning committee appointed by the party to do the zoning. They came up. They said, oh, we only were asked to do the party zoning. How can you zone the chairman of the party without effectively zoning the presidential candidate of the party? Something went missing. I wasn't here. We would have told them, no, you were wrong. Can you divorce the chairman of the party from the president of the party? No. The founding father made sure there is a connection with the legislative arm and the executive arm and the party. You see what I'm trying to drive at. So the moment the chairman of that committee was the governor of Enugu State, who now said, oh, they were only told to zone the position of the party. How can you zone party position without zoning the executive? I know Peter Obi very well. He's an asset not only to the Southeast, he's an asset to this country. He has worked assiduously in his private enterprise and on the national politics. Look at the miracle he performed in Anambra. All right. Now, when Obi, you know, he was originally with PDP. He left to be in Abga because of the crisis in Anambra, and then came back later to be the vice presidential candidate. You know, like I told you, we are still at the embryonic stages of political development. We are looking at the fallouts of the past. How did we get where we are? Why should our party not avoid the pitfalls of the past? Things that will create, you know, these terrible problems. And why should we not find solutions such that the thing that got Obi annoyed to say he was moving out, how can we avoid such pitfalls in the future? These are the reasons why we know, you know, you put the minds together, we put our heads together, we look at solutions based on the environment and the situations in the environment today, because you can't predict tomorrow. So, and as tomorrow comes with its own problems, we will also revisit it. How can we do it to avoid the consequences, the bad consequences? And that is the human nature. That is the human nature. And I am hoping, because we see the consequences if we refuse to see reason. We will see the consequences. Of course, you know, even if one man decides to jump ship, it will have an effect. Because we want to win the hearts and minds of the people. We want to say, okay, let's convince you to trust us. So how do you trust us if the party is looking at you as if you are not important? We are asking basically now, what do we take home? And we have resolved this issue that henceforth, 6 months before any zoning will start, before they start the sale of any forms, the zoning committee must meet and define explicitly where the candidates will go, where the chairman of the party will go, because of the experience in the last 1 year. You know, people have proposed that, okay, Atiku should spend one term, Atiku should do this, Atiku should do that. The only being who can predict the future positively is the Almighty God. It's all futuristic. The only one we are saying now is, you have taken one. We should also take one of all the top 6. We are saying wait until after election. We say foul. No. Now or never. And if anybody is fooling them and telling them all will be well, all will not be well. The OB issue is still a major issue. It's still a very, very major parameter in the political equation. If we are divided, you know what you are doing? you are further dividing everything. So who will go to the villa? Bola Tinubu and other APC people in the villa? I beg, no. We can see what they have done. In fact, one of them came and said they want to replicate what he did in Lagos, in Abuja. Oh my goodness. To replicate what this guy did in Lagos, in Abuja, there will be no Nigeria. You know, if we have gone to sleep, the cacophony of voices you hear countering some of the vituperations from the ruling party, you won't hear that. We, in our party, yes, you know, that's what you call a systemic impact. Once you are in power for that long time, about 16 years, and then suddenly you lose power, you know, you first of all will go into a spin because you were least expecting to lose power. But we have gathered ourselves, and I am very positive that we will give them a good run for their money for 2023. Yes, we have internal problems. There is no organization that doesn't have internal problems, but I can tell you, we have people with quality brains, experienced people, committed people, loyal people who will provide the tripod of any democratic tenets: justice, fairness, and equity in our party. I am not telling you we don't have some disagreements. There is no organization anywhere in the world that will not have disagreements, but we can disagree without being disagreeable. We are there in the throes now. We have about less than about a month now to the flagging off of national campaign. One major achievement that this administration, you can call them, say all kinds of nonsense, but it has altered course that we can now start heading to the promised land. Changed us from the mess that we've been running. Professor Iwu was the first who started the shout about modernizing. The technology is available. Let's do it. Let's modernize. Let's do this transmission electronically. They shouted him down. 1990, year 2000, they shouted him down. But finally, I will say it without any equivocation. I say it with all gladness in my heart. That is the only thing that General Buhari and his group have achieved. To modernize the electoral process, to take us away from the worthlessness, the most stupid procedure. Nigeria is a massive country. You see, by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, on the day of election, results are announced. Jokers, they are going now, they want to go to court. You see the charade of the past, they would have announced results. It's only the judiciary who will now determine you are the governor, you are House of Rep, you are president. Judiciary, let's do it the way the civilized societies do their own. Human intervention in electoral process was so demeaning. And that's why we have found ourselves where we are today. Voice populi, voice Dei. Let the voice of the people become the voice of the Almighty God. And we will get there. We will get there.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.